Hello students, welcome. In this video, we are going to talk about comparatives. If we want to compare two things, two elements, or two people, we are most likely to use the comparatives. But before we start with the comparatives, it's important to know what adjectives are. So, what is an adjective? An adjective is a word that describes or gives information about an object or a person. So basically, it's the characteristic of a person or a thing. Let's see a few examples. Here we have two sentences. This is a beautiful house, and that big dog is yours. In the first example, the adjective is the word beautiful. In the second example, the adjective is the word big. So all the words that describe a noun, that describe a person or a thing, that give a certain characteristic are called adjectives. And adjectives are divided into short and long adjectives. We can have short adjectives or we can have long adjectives. For example, long adjectives can be one-syllable adjectives or two-syllable adjectives ending in Y. Let's see a few examples in each case. So, an adjective is short if we have one syllable, if the adjective is only one syllable long. For example, big, blue, and small. Big is only one syllable, so it's a short adjective. Blue is only one syllable, and small is only one syllable. So all these adjectives are short adjectives. The other way to identify short adjectives is if we have an adjective that has two syllables but ends in Y. For example, happy and easy. Happy has two syllables but finishes in Y, so it's also a short adjective. Easy has two syllables but finishes in Y, so it is a short adjective. On the other hand, we have long adjectives, and we can identify long adjectives if they have two syllables that do not end in Y or three or more syllables. Let's see each case. If we have an adjective that has only two syllables but does not finish in Y, we consider that as a long adjective. For example, modern and pleasant. Modern has two syllables, but modern does not finish in Y, so it is a long adjective. Pleasant has two syllables, but it does not finish in Y, so we consider pleasant a long adjective. Finally, if we have a word, an adjective that has three syllables or more, we are going to consider those adjectives to be long. For example, expensive or intellectual. Expensive has three syllables, so expensive is a long adjective. Intellectual is very clearly a long adjective. It has four syllables, so we consider intellectual to be a long adjective. Let's see now how comparatives work and how we can make the difference between short adjectives and long adjectives. So now we're going to start with the comparatives with short adjectives. Let's imagine here we have this object. This is an apple, and it's a small apple. But here we also have these elements. This is a watermelon, and it's a big watermelon. In each case, the adjective is small for the apple and big for the watermelon. How can we compare these two elements? Well, if we want to compare the apple and the watermelon, we can say something like this. The apple is smaller than the watermelon. In the word small, we add ER, smaller. Smaller means más pequeño. And smaller than, más pequeño que. So in this case, the apple is smaller than the watermelon. Think for a second. How can we compare the watermelon to the apple using the word big? Can you give me the example? So if we want to compare the watermelon to the apple, we can say the watermelon is bigger than the apple. You can see it's the same example, but in this case we add er, big, bigger, bigger than, más grande que. The watermelon is bigger than the apple. Let's have a look at a different example. Now we've got this object. This is a pencil, and a pencil is long. Long is also a short adjective. And we also have this object. This is an eraser, and an eraser is short. Short is also a short adjective. If we want to compare the pencil with the eraser, we can say something like this. The pencil is longer than the eraser. Longer than the eraser. To the word long, we add er. Longer. Longer than. Más largo que. The pencil is longer than the eraser. Question for you. How can we compare the eraser to the pencil? So if we want to compare the eraser to the pencil with the word short, we can say something like this. The eraser is shorter than the pencil. The eraser is shorter than the pencil. To the word short, we add er, shorter. Shorter than, más corto que. The eraser is shorter than the pencil. These are the short adjectives. Now, what happens if we have long adjectives? Let's see an example for a moment. Here we have a chair, and this chair is uncomfortable. Uncomfortable. Uncomfortable is a long adjective. It's a very long adjective. So the chair is uncomfortable. And here we've got a sofa. The sofa is comfortable, and comfortable is also a long adjective. If we have long adjectives and we want to make a comparison, we can say the chair is more uncomfortable than. In this case, we are not adding er. We are adding more at the beginning. More means más. More uncomfortable than. Más incómodo que. More uncomfortable than. So the chair is more uncomfortable than the sofa. Let's think for a moment. This is a question for you. If you want to compare the sofa to the chair, how can we make this comparison with the word comfortable? So if you want to compare the sofa to the chair using the word comfortable, you can say something like this. The sofa is more comfortable than the chair. More comfortable than, más cómodo que. The sofa is more comfortable than the chair. Let's see a different example now. In this case, we have this object, this small insect. This is a butterfly. And the butterfly is beautiful. The butterfly is beautiful. But we also have this insect. This is a spider. And the spider is horrible. The word beautiful is a long adjective. The word horrible is a long adjective. If I want to compare the butterfly with the spider, I can say something like this. The butterfly is more beautiful than the spider. The butterfly is more beautiful than the spider. More beautiful than. Más hermosa que. Butterfly is more beautiful than the spider. This is a question for you. How can you compare the spider to the butterfly using the word horrible? So if you want to compare the word spider, if you want to compare the spider with the butterfly using the word horrible, you can say something like this. The spider is more horrible than the butterfly. The spider is more horrible than the butterfly. More horrible than. Más horrible que. The spider is more horrible than the butterfly. Thank you very much for your attention.